My speaker is not working properly. What does really do Zoom? I need a sit board. Crystal, I come back. Oh, she's back. Okay. So we have a good blood supply. That is, blood is brought to the respiratory surface. And by respiratory surface, we mean the place where gaseous exchange takes place. So we could say the gaseous exchange surface. The blood has to bring the carbon dioxide there so that it can be exchanged for oxygen. So you have a rich blood supply so that the exchange can take place more efficiently. Everything is to enable a more efficient exchange of gases at a faster rate and with ease. We also breathe constantly. Humans we're talking about. In the case of aquatic mammals, or we should say marine mammals, they come up and take a breath and they dive back and do whatever they have to do on that one breath. And they would come out and come up and exhale or blow and then inhale again. People who hunt whale, they shoot the whale while the whale is either exhaling or taking its next breath before it dives again, because it must come up. So we breathe constantly. So we keep bringing fresh air with oxygen to the surface, and we keep removing the carbon dioxide. All that happens very efficiently. I explained this already. When inspired air reaches the alveoli, it contains a lot of oxygen. Oxygen dissolves in the watery lining of the alveolus and then diffuses through the walls of the alveolus and the capillaries and into the blood. There's very short diffusion distance because the cells are simple and flat, squamous. Do you remember a few years ago? I was like either 2016, 17, I think it's 16. There was a fire in a vehicle at Mackey's Hill. And a lady, one woman perished. I know for sure. I can't remember if the other one had died. But I know one woman had got severe burns about her body. But one thing I want you to bear in mind, when somebody is in a fire itself, they're not going to hold their breath. As a matter of fact, you're so anxious, you're going to breathe faster. When you inhale, you actually inhale in the fire or the hot fumes that goes down into your lungs and damage the alveolus, damage the lining, damage the surface through which gases must be exchanged. So getting your skin burnt is just one aspect of being hot in a fire. The other problem is what you inhale. Most persons who die in a fire die from smoke inhalation. And that woman was in the vehicle for quite a while before. So even if they were to treat the skin for burns and you get skin grafts and whatever, there's nothing, you can go and dress inside here. You can't put sticking plaster in the alveoli. You can't apply medicine down in there. You just have to allow the body to try to fix it. And if the damage is too much, then that's it. Start to sing, I am coming home. What they try to show you here is some of the lung tissue seen from with a light microscope. And we have the alveoli, the air sac, and the bronchiole. This is not so clear. This is not the clearest diagram. Here, the lunchtime bell ringing down by the church. Maybe we could do this one before we stop again. Rescue breathing, they call it. When somebody I'm looking for my sometimes a person could have an accident and they stop breathing. It could be a swimming incident where the person was asphyxiated. Asphyxiation refers to when the air passages are blocked so that the person cannot breathe air. Most people generally tend to think that when somebody drowns, their entire lungs fill up with water. Not usually the case. You'd have water in the trachea and so on, but it's difficult to pull water into your lungs. It would be more like if it would be more a feeling as if somebody tape up your mouth and your nostril and you're trying to inhale. I want you to try this. Take a little straw. When you next time you drink like a box juice or if you have access to a straw, pinch your nose, pinch your nostrils close and try to breathe through that little straw. You'll see how difficult it is. Far less trying to pull water into the lungs through those tiny tubes. The person would asphyxiate before a lot of water gets into the lungs. Some water would get in, but not like how people think it is, like, oh, the lungs full up like a big balloon of water. No, it doesn't happen like that. Person dies, stops breathing before that. And if that were the case, you can restart the person's breathing easily because you have to try to get rid of all that water out of the lungs. So that's not really the case. Sometimes a person might receive an electric shock and they might stop breathing also. Different things can cause a person to stop breathing, even cardiac arrest. But breathing can usually be restarted. And if the person was in that condition for less than 4 minutes, usually they can be revived. The shorter the time, the better the chances. But after 4 minutes, approximately 4 minutes, permanent brain damage might have occurred. So even if the person does not die, you get their heart beating again, they're not good for themselves. We would say that person is a vegetable. You might have to have them hooked up to a machine and then you might have to decide to just turn off the machine because the person basically technically dead. So how do you, let's read. When a person has an incident and stops breathing, they should be placed on their back and rescue breathing, which used to be called mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, should be carried out. Rescue breathing puts oxygen into the lungs in an attempt to keep the person alive. Well, the stretching of the diaphragm, the movement sometimes cause the person to gasp and start back the breathing. These days, I'm really sorry for anybody if this were to happen to them in public. With COVID and all that. Oi, you're dead, you're dead. Nobody, nobody will breathe into that COVID mouth. By taking out somebody mask to do that. It's kind of difficult to think about. I used to walk around with
blow in the mask.
It's hard to you could try it. You could try it, but I don't know. Maybe it might work.
The cloth mask then you go pass.
The air would pass through the other one too. It just might work. But I used to have I don't even know where that was. I used to walk around with one of those a plastic thing with the central portion. You can blow through, the air would go in one direction though. Generally. I got it after I did a CPR, what you call a course again? It was a first aid course. Did more than one of them, but I did one in 2016 and got a certificate from the American Heart Association, Heart and Lung Association. I just sometimes I have heard about situations where persons could have been saved on a beach, but there was nobody there who knew. Have no idea whatsoever to do. You know what Vincent Chance do? You fan people. Whatever happened to the person, give him some air. Yeah, let's stop proud around the man. So let's stop proud around the man. So somebody has something, let me fan him. Bring some water. Bring some water. Some of the worst things you can do. That's what we do. Well, I mean, the fresh air might help, but fanning doesn't really do much for the person if the person isn't. It doesn't do anything for the person if the person is not breathing. And trying to make them drink water could be dangerous too, because you could cause them to asphyxiate, basically drown. So this is what we're going to do. Pinch the nostrils shut. In this context, pinch don't mean like when you pinch somebody for hurt them enough. It means you just close it by squeezing them together. I don't know how it has some big nose people. I don't know how their nostrils going to get pinched shut. I don't know. I had a friend, he can't eat farine. But anyway, you pinch the nostrils shut and tilt the head back and push the lower jaw forward. This opens the airway. You look at the diagram one. Let me just make this a little larger because we'll focus on that. You want them in this position. That opens up the airways. Now, before you blow into somebody's mouth, make sure that there's nothing obstructing the airway. Sometimes a person might have been choking on something and they stop breathing. You can't go and do rescue breathing before you clear the passageway. You're just going to be trying to blow the thing deeper into the person's respiratory system. So you could tilt their head backwards and remove whatever with your fingers. Even if your hand is dirty, it's better you put your dirty finger in the person's mouth and save their life, and you leave them like that. There's another position that we call the recovery position, where sometimes if a person is choking, you might not necessarily want to put them on their back immediately if they stop breathing. You want to put them in a kind of sideways position, lying on the side, so that whatever you're trying to remove from their respiratory tract, from their trachea, does not go further down. You can get it out easier. And then immediately after that, you start doing rescue breathing. If the person was brought in from the water, you might want to well, you would do more than rescue breathing. You might do CPR because the heart might have stopped. But as you pump, you might see water gush out from the person's respiratory system too, depending on how much water went in. But most of the time, they swallow the water. The reaction that happens when they try to breathe in the water, they swallow it and probably start coughing. You can't breathe properly during that kind of thing. Drowning is a traumatic experience. for a person. It's a real hard way to go. Some people think that, oh, you jump off the bridge and drown. That's it. No.
Painful.
Person have to be dying scared. So the next step, take a deep breath and open your mouth and seal your lips against the person's mouth. Breathe out firmly, but gently into the person's mouth. This puts air into the person's lungs. I'm saying this, but I try to hold back the laugh because anytime this comes up with, sorry, suppose this happened to you, right? This happened to you, and you know somebody to have real serious dragon breath, and when you catch yourself, it's them who
That go wake you up fast.
it's them who save you. Oh my goodness. You should have said, you should have leave me. Oh my goodness. But look, it's life, eh? The bad breath ain't gonna kill you. Hopefully. So you take a deep breath, you open your mouth. Sorry. And seal your lips against the person's mouth. Now, number 3, lift your mouth away and turn your head to look at the person's chest. If you have been successful, you will see the chest has risen and is now falling. Sometimes when you blow in, you kind of glance, I should say, towards the chest direction. And you would see the chest rising, and you would see, as you remove your mouth, you would see it going back down. So you know you got in a breath. Step 4, sorry. Repeat steps 2 and 3 at a steady rate. Breathing should start again. Usually when you're doing this, you would want to check the person's pulse. One of the fastest ways to check the pulse and easiest ways is under the neck. You have an artery passing just between the windpipe, the corner of the windpipe and the neck, somewhere across. It's called the Carotid Artery that goes to the head. And you can feel a strong pulse there. Generally, the reason why we check for a person's pulse at their wrist is because that area tends to be exposed all the time. But the pulse is stronger at the neck. You would see in military, in movies, soldiers usually check for the pulse there, not true? They check for the pulse at the person's neck. You have a strong pulse by your neck. You have a pulse by your wrist. Even in your thumb, you have a pulse, but you have a strong pulse under your armpit and a strong pulse by the groin. But you can't, that won't be proper for you to put your hand in somebody's crotch or the groin to talk about you taking the pulse. You might end up with a lawsuit, especially if it's a male doing that to a female. They will say, imagine I pass out and he trying to fondle me. So you have to use your discretion and do things the proper way. So I hope you don't ever have to put this rescue breathing into practice, but if the circumstance arise, I hope you would be able to assist. I remember one time my brother had to do this. We had a church trip, but I didn't feel like going. I didn't go. The place was too windy and chilly. But I went this beach out Brighton called Breakers. They have erected no bathing signs there now, there and Rawaku, because those beaches have taken several lives. But 3 persons died that day from the church. Three young people. A freak wave came in, and some girls were in the water and singing and so on, and the guys, they were burying up one another in the sand. That kind of thing, you just have fun. But this big wave came in big, and when it went back out, it swept out some of the girls. So the guys had to try to get themselves out of this sand now, that burying up, that By the time you reach out, you're almost exhausted. But they were able to rescue the girls, and one of the guys who they rescued too, was not he was not breathing. But my brother did CPR on him, and they got him to the hospital. Another one who did some of the saving too, the wave slammed him against a rock. He didn't even drown, but he can mash up his head injury and punctured lungs and liver and all that, ribs break. And two other persons they couldn't find. They found one, I think 2 days later, wrong Kanash, and one was never found. It was really, really traumatic. But I didn't attend, but I had to get the phone call to try to get the Coast Guard and all that kind of thing and call the parents. That was my body run cold. Big goosebumps in the middle of the evening. I had to actually I had to actually bathe with hot water, go put hot water on the stove to go and bathe to go down hospital. Couldn't make it. I was trembling. But I hope you don't have that's what I say. I hope you don't have to actually put it into use, but if it does happen, you should know what to do and you should not panic. Do what needs to be done. We still have to look at aerobic and anaerobic respiration. We have to look at the effects of smoking, and we have to look at well, some little more things on vital statistics and exercise and breathing. Let me look back in the syllabus and make sure. Okay, ATP, yes. We have to look at the role of adenosine triphosphate in the transfer of energy. Discuss the effects of smoking. Look at the graphs and tables concerning respiratory systems and anaerobic respiration. So this topic will be finished by Wednesday, hopefully. Ria, you got to show me up. So questions. Well, if you don't ask me no question, eh? Well, I got all the question. What's the difference between breathing and respiration? You understand? Because some people use it to mean the same place, the same thing. Sorry.
Well, let me see.
In your own words, even in Vinci, I just want to know if you understand the concept. Because they're not the same thing, right? I'm sure you'd agree that they're not the same thing. I'm gonna play so. Breathing and respiration are the same thing. Still too high. Oh, okay then. So if I ask you what is respiration, what will you tell me? Pretty sure you could give me an idea what respiration is. I'm not asking you for a textbook definition or a Google definition or thing. I just want you to say, as long as the basic words are in it, I know you have an understanding of what it is.
Respiration have to do with
Go ahead.
okay, you breathe in funny environment. You take in something like that.
Which one you saying? Respiration or breathing?
Respiration. You breathe in now, when you breathe in, contraction and expansion.
Yeah, but breathing is the movement. Breathing is the movement of the gases in and out of the lungs. So breathing takes place in your lungs. Yeah, it's moved in and out of the lungs. Where does respiration take place? Where? Where in the body does respiration take place?
That it thing look like a horseshoe.
Well, you know, respiration takes place in every cell of the body. Every cell. Breathing is movement of gases into and out of the lungs. Respiration is a chemical process that releases energy in all cells of the body. Right? That's the major difference. See if I could let me quiz you. What I deliberately not changing the page because I don't want to give you any clue. At the bottom of the rib cage, there's a sheath of muscular tissue. What is that called? Muscular and fibrous tissue.
What your name again?
That. Give me the name.
So I say.
You hear me and you, eh? At the bottom of the rib cage, there is a sheet of muscular tissue, muscular and connective tissue, actually. That it spreads out there and it helps with breathing. I want to know the name of that.
Well, let I start with.
Okay, well, I will hang up. Hold on, let me get me thing. Let me change this camera first, in case nobody gets it. Where's my tray? I'm giving you no clue. Well, let us start with. Ooh.
Oh gosh, sir.
Oh, you think it diaphragm you talk about?
Just bust people bubbling. You
are that
correct.
Me battery dead.
Oh, poor you. It's probably because it's lunchtime. You need to feed the phone. Diaphragm, yes. You're done easier sometimes. Script from Dennis. Yeah. What about the air sac? What is another name for the air sac?
Alveoli.
Yes, alveoli. Alveoli. That's plural. Alveolus would be singular. And there are some, yeah, boy, I want to hang somebody today now. There are some muscles between the ribs. What are these muscles called?
They intercostal muscles.
Well, watch all, you know. All just from the time all see me bring out the girl was all giving me answer. Intercostal muscles are correct. Ah, boy. It's not that I vex you get it wrong, right, you know. But I just didn't want to hang up somebody.
Just to hang somebody?
Yeah. Hangman. Gaseous exchange, alveoli, stomach. Yeah. See, some of these things you would have to try to remember though. Conditions that respirate large surface area, moist, thin walls, good blood supply, and so on. Oh, yes. By what process are the gases exchanged in the lung? We're giving you a multiple choice. By what process are the gases exchanged? By what process does gaseous exchange take place in the lungs? Active transport, diffusion, osmosis. Active transport, diffusion, osmosis. Which one?
Diffusion, osmosis, and water.
That is, yeah. Yeah, go on good. Yeah, active, sorry, diffusion. Diffusion is correct. And yes, osmosis deals with the movement of water. Very well. I got a CD from one of the textbooks. I'm going to close off just now because I know people have things to do and the time not gone down. I got a CD that let me see if I could bring it up. I don't have a way, I haven't found a way yet to make it work without like from a flash drive. But some of them difficult to duplicate. If you try to duplicate them, they're not likely to work from the copy. I'm going to share it before we close off. We're running out of time actually. Where is it? Okay, there it is. Human and social biology, agree. And I could go to section B and probably unit 5. I'm not even sure where this topic would be. Let me try 3 and see something. But there will be questions and so on this. Probably screenshot them and send them. Oh, this one is with enzymes and so on. Yeah, but it would allow me to probably quiz you and so on at another time. But I just wanted you to get an idea of what it was. This one is a video. This one is about what? Okay then. Go back. No, going back. I'm not sure if you would be able to hear the sound.
What happens to you when you exercise?
This is called feedback.
Muscles need more glucose and oxygen.
With Zoom, I'm not. Can you hear the sound?
Heart beats faster and you breathe more deeply.
You're hearing it a bit low.
Oh, is what is coming through the mic. But if I use a different program, I would be able to share the sound of a video.
Lactic acid. Once you finish exercising, it takes some time to destroy the lactic acid. The fitter you are, the quicker you recover.
But after that, there would be some questions. Explain why you breathe faster while exercising. This one you have to write in your answers. Explain why athletes drink sports drink containing high levels of glucose shortly before the exercise, etc., etc. Anyway, we would pull up our anchor here. Wait, one last question. How come when you're doing rescue breathing, how come you're able to help the person? How come you could breathe out your exhale there into the person and they still get oxygen? Why?
So what the question mean?
It's a kind of mix-up question. I didn't articulate it clearly, really. During rescue breathing, you breathe into the person's mouth and they're getting oxygen from you. How come they're still getting oxygen from you? You didn't use it up? Because as far as I learned in primary school, you breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. So how is it?
When they breathe it out, then I breathe in carbon dioxide in your body, turning it. To oxygen.
It don't turn into, what happened is you don't use up all the oxygen that you inhale. So when you exhale, you're actually exhaling some oxygen too.
Oh, you want to feel it that way.
Yes, that's it. So when you blow that into the person's body can make use of that oxygen that you had left over. You have a lot of oxygen left over to go around a couple times. So the person can do that. If a person has taken in with asthma, what is a quick way you can help them if they don't have a nebulizer, pumper?
The paper bag, the bag.
Yeah, let them breathe into a paper bag. Why, how does that work? How does that help? Why does it help? What happens to make that help the person?
Read it again.
The carbon dioxide level. It causes them to breathe in more carbon dioxide, and that causes their airway to open wider. Yeah. So the air goes in more easy. Okay, then I have some things to look on for some of you. And the rest of you could reach out to me still. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon. It's 12:30.
Same thing.
Watch when Crystal coming back now. Crystal, if you coming back to bring food for me, fine.
Sam.
You know, me and you go with this food.